Well, welcome to Monday's edition of the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. 8 Wind is timeless. I am the holder of the sacred ball game of the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. It all starts with a gentle sadness. I am the Galactic Daddy-O, sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. Thank you, everyone. And and the commercial for tonight is still on Wonderland. Hazy IP. Hey. So pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want them. 60 degrees up here today. Probably still fairly warm. It feels warm. This window's open. So it was a beautiful day. Spent 2 hours outside. Got big walking in. A lot of walking in today. My daughter's riding her bike. So smooth day. And I admit sometimes I make mistakes. I should have did a thing on the All-Star game. It's just, to me, it seems, cornballish in some ways to give the play-by-play on something that I do so much work with and exposing the NBA for what it is. But I think someone had asked me that, and they were probably right. I probably should have. But it's, it's an exhibition game. So, but they still, even though it's an exhibition game, they still use the same things we see over and over again. They use the same things we see over and over again. So, James, I had to reorder that hockey puck sausage. Oh, yes, you know what we had for breakfast this morning. I definitely had some hockey puck sausage this morning and pancakes. Hey, Sosa, thank you. All-Star game was a waste of time. I agree. That angle in the slam dunk contest that showed behind the backboards, all the wires, is just case closed. Well, thank you. But I was like, that's their problem is they think they're so bold that people don't pay attention. And as I mentioned before, I had several pictures that I can't find. And this was, wow, maybe when they even brought Garnett back, we had went to the game. So this was like I had went to a game in well, even before that, the summer before they brought Garnett back. My cousin used to coach the Chicago team, the Chicago Sky. And so after the games, we would wait for him. And there was just people waiting. And so I would just study the backboard. I mean, I would just study the whole gold. I mean, I had pictures of this stuff, and now they're not on Facebook anymore, so I don't know what happened to them. But I would literally we would be out there sometime for, like, if they lost, he would come out pretty quick. But if they won, it would be a little longer before he would come out. So sometimes I was out on the floor for 45 minutes. And I'm just looking at both baskets. Nobody's bothering me long as I got the pass to be on the court, the after game pass. They never bother me. So, but that's their problem, is they're arrogant. And again, why did Chris Paul go before Booker? Dame ain't having that great year, but I know it's popularity contest. But Chris Paul, why was Chris Paul in there? Why does Chris Paul have commercials? It's not hating on Chris Paul, but I'm saying he's not a winner. Most of the time in sports gives stuff to winners. What has Chris Paul won? Maybe a gold medal. He's never been associated with a winner. Everywhere he's went, they lost. I mean, how many? You think he's the only 6-foot dude in the nation that can tear up the NBA? Guys like him every day that don't make it, they cut him or put him in the G League. They say they too small, but yet you keep Chris Paul. And I truly believe that Chris Paul was a handler for James Harden, Blake Griffin. Who else was in that commercial? Jordan, the other Jordan, the tall Jordan that wore the dress. You know, he becomes a handler. What was the other dude's name that won the title with the Lakers? Arness? No, what is his name? His name would come. But remember, he was when Houston. They even put him in a commercial. Another person he handled. And I mentioned it before about James and it wasn't the baby or Little Dirk or somebody that he gave a watch to and was giving all that cash. And that was straight up handling. Because he gave him the birthday stuff. Remember, dude showed it all. He took it back. I don't think people noticed that, how he snatched it back. So I got pissed off when Lillard and stuff hit them back-to-back half courts. Exactly. It's like you can't believe it. Why do you think they took those shots in the first place? I mean, it was just unbelievable. And what did really Giannis do? Giannis didn't miss a shot. Giannis didn't miss a shot, and they give him the MVP. And they're showing, I didn't understand. I think they mocked LeBron a little bit because they were showing if LeBron had won it again, that he would be up there with so many others. They were showing the screen of other people that had won it so many times. So I thought that was odd. Do you have an official NBA pick? Yes. I do. I'm still thinking, I'm going with the Sixers. Looking at all their Q ratings and everything, that's right who it appears to me. So I'm gonna stick with the Sixers. No, I said I would do it today, and I'm picking the Sixers. I think they're gonna push the Sixers on. Matter of fact, I think it's going to be where we saw the all-star coaches. I think that's what we're gonna see in the finals. I think they're gonna let Utah go to the finals, and they're gonna let the Sixers beat Utah. So that's my pick. I'll pick Utah and the Jazz in the finals. Won't be the first time that if it doesn't happen, won't be the first time. But that's who I'm picking. I'm picking the Sixers to win it all this year. So, well, that's who I'm going to stay with. I got pissed. Yep. Yeah, NBA, I understand. But that's who I'm picking. Blake Griffin to Nets. They building a super team for LeBron to take down, or could be a psyop. That tells you right there they're not going to win. You got Harden that they're not going to let win. And now you got Griffin. That just shows you they're not going to let them win. So that's proof. That's proof that they are not going to let – it's not going to be the Nets. That move with Griffin shows you it is not going to be the Nets this year. Absolutely not. That move shows you it isn't going to be. Because he is the NBA's president. I agree. Arenas. Not Arenas. He played with the Lakers, and he won a title with Kobe and the Lakers, but he was a rookie. Good defender, about 6'8", 6'9". He was with Houston. He's kind of bounced around, but I think he took last season off. But he was with Houston. He was in that commercial. Remember, he was singing all off key in the back seat. Not our test, but our something. The Nats. Yep, I saw that. We talked about that. Hey, Preston. Hey, James. I saw that. Why would they not let LeBron win 6? Why do you think Utah over the Lakers? Once again, you have to look at the ratings and you have to look at the Q ratings. And the Q ratings are really favoring Utah. And remember, the only time Utah ever won a finals championship was the Stars. They was the Utah Stars. They just got fined heavily. They had a lot to do with the COVID. And to me, that all seems lining up for them. I don't think they're going to let Steph go through. I think they're going to be left a little light. Look at right now the shooting that they're doing. Almost all their games, everybody's shooting well for them. When you start seeing that, that makes me see. And watching the All-Star games with Doc being picked and the Duke former player, the Missouri former coach, Quinn Snyder. Yeah, Quinn Snyder, who I did meet and played against. He's maybe a year younger than me, maybe 2 years. But I played against him back when he was at Duke. And I just see that is probably, that just lines up better to me, especially ratings-wise. Doc is going to hold ratings. Ebade, he is, again, you see he had the commercials, but they've taken him off the commercials. That's kind of what they did to Shaq. They told Shaq to, slow down on your movies and your commercials and get serious about ball. When I saw that they took his commercials down, that made me think that the Sixers might be in it. Because generally, the people that do a lot of commercials don't be in it. So that is kind of my breakdown of why I think, because look at them getting fined. Both of them complained about officials. Both of them got fined, but it gave them publicity. It gave them publicity, and it gave them a louder voice. Because, again, a lot of them Western games, unless you got the NBA package, even if you have the NBA package, them games be on late as hell on the East Coast. They be on late as hell. And so a team like that is hard to draw the East Coast ratings in. So I just think the publicity they're getting, they're going to push them. Now, I could be wrong. Davis, one thing you can look at is Davis's injury and Durant's injuries is the same. It's the same thing. So, but that's who I'm picking. You guys been saying Jazz have better shooters. Ariza, thank you, James. That's who I was. So that's why those are my reasons, though. Just looking at the Q ratings, the ratings, they have been on. Utah early was on just as much as the Warriors. Warriors were not on national television. Was it last week? Because they had been pushing the Warriors, but I just don't think they're going to reward the Warriors without Clay. Again, they got Wiggins. Wiggins is the Randy Moss. I don't think they're going to let Wiggins get one. So I just think that they're going to push Utah through, but Utah's going to lose. Lakers got defense, though. Defense wins championships. Well, there's really no defense in the NFL, in the NBA, excuse me. What chance do you think Warriors will win? I don't. It's going to be about the draw and where the Warriors end up. So it depending on who they get a draw with, most of the competition is strong out in the West. So if the Warriors have to play Utah in the first match, I think Utah will beat them. And again, Spider Mitchell is only 6'2", 6'3". I didn't realize he was so short. It's like I see why he wasn't one of the top picks. In his games, now watch Spider Mitchell's games. That when they turn the basket on for him, they'll put him on the line 15, 16 times. I don't know if you remember a couple years ago when he was a rookie or maybe his first year. They turned the basket on for him, and he was constantly on the line. He was taking over games. And even though they didn't go that far, the potential was there for him to take over a series. You could see the grooming right there. Remember, I forget who they had played in the early matches a couple years ago, but he took a couple teams down almost single-handedly. And this cat is only 6'2". He was like almost taking every shot. Now, in the end of that series, I can't think of what series it was. In the end of that series, he flamed out. You know, his last shot missed and they knocked him out. But as a narrative, they saw that he could carry the day and he could carry the time slot. And I saw that too. So it wasn't, they didn't pick him then, but just looking, that's kind of my feel. I just see that Utah and let me see, I had something in there about, because again, they come out of, the Jazz used to be in Louisiana, and that's why they're called the Jazz. First of all, I can't think of what correlation I had. Something I wanted to tell everybody, but it's, hey, Ryan, what's happening? Yeah, it was too predictable. Stephen Curry, Lakers. I was the only one thinking it. Steph Curry to the Lakers. Tariq, Space Jam coming out, another one for LeBron. Yeah, that's true. Now this year's narratives was, this year's narrative is Steph is good. Q ratings ain't that great yet, not yet. But there's, as I mentioned, they was saturating him. They was really saturating him, but at the same time, they was saturating the Nets too, or excuse me, Utah. Utah was like if the Warriors was playing the first game, they was a lot of times throwing Utah in the second slot. And, you know, this year, I don't know if y'all noticed, but it's like a lot of like what Michigan is doing. Michigan lost to State. They turn around and play State tomorrow or the next day. But the NBA has been doing that a lot. They've been playing back-to-backs. Hockey's been doing the same thing, because I think the NHL is all hockey, all Canadian hockey playing Canadian teams, all American hockey playing. Because I just sit here and watched one night. It was the Mighty Ducks was playing here, playing the Wild. Then they turned around and went to Anaheim and played. So they've been doing a lot of that, and I've been seeing that with the Warriors doing that a lot with the Timberwolves, and then the Jazz playing the same way. And the Jazz are getting a little more national pub than Dallas. Dallas is just not talented. You know, these dudes is coming in there with straight up Nazi cuts. Did y'all notice that? Straight up Nazi cuts. Don't nobody else notice that? Them Eastern Bloc dudes, straight up Nazi cuts. I was like, wow. But they've been like that all season. Both of them. Those are Nazi haircuts. Look up how the Nazis had the SS haircuts, and both of them had those haircuts. And I know people say, well, fading and blending is the style, but I don't know. LeBron had Dame and Steph, two sharpshooters who scored from the logo, and Dave is underrated. I don't know. I think he's overrated, to be honest. Without help, he have a lot of help. And then on defense, he's a liability on defense. This year, the Warriors could win the 7th ring. Steve Kerr, 7th season as coach. Steph's 7th All-Star, will be their 12th finals. Ombre wears 12, and it's the 75th season. Good point. Chief Blazing, Dame is all magnet. Yeah, that Chief Blazing, that's his man. Just my opinion, but I see it. Leaves Chief Blazing alone. Dame is his man. Dame is his man. Well, you ain't got to attack him. Come on, Sosa. You ain't got to attack him. Chiefin that's his man, so that's all. Yeah, Porzingis stays injured, but again, Rick Smith, Yamin, them cats get them injuries. You know, his frame in all the games they play. Europe, they don't play as many, but just the 7 foot above dudes seem to have the foot ankles, the foot injuries, and Sabonis' daddy. So, but we never saw his daddy play good. His daddy was a shell. He was just so big that they kept him. But yeah, yep. leave Chiefin alone. That's his man. Let him go. Yeah, chill, guys. You ain't got to attack him. What does he have? What help does he have? This year, he has a lot of help. I see that the guy from here, Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. is hooping. Trying to think. The dude who won the dunk contest, you can see his roles develop more with Dame. It hurt CJ's down, but Gary Trent and that dude Simmons that won the dunk contest, they're bigger than CJ. CJ's bigger than Dame. And so with CJ and Dame out there together, they're small. So when they play them, it gives a bigger team with CJ not there. And I hate to say that because I love CJ's game, but it's just with them together, they're small on defense, and that's a liability. Sosa, you trash. All right, okay, stop it with y'all. Stop it with y'all. Leave Chiefin alone. He loves Dame, and that's all right. You know, you like who you like. Timeless. I've been invited to join the Martial Arts Society. Oh, outstanding, Edward. We're proud of you. Yeah, Cervantes' dad made the Hall of Fame. Yeah, James, because of his international play. Bill Walton said he was one of the most talented big men he had ever saw. I love Gary Trent. You know, I liked his dad. I saw his dad play in college. And so they don't live, you know, they're from Apple Valley. I mean, a lot of boys from this area make pros. We got the boy from Minnehaha that played with Gonzaga. He's on Gonzaga. He was freshman of the year in that conference. Gary Trent's from here. Both the Jones brothers is from here. Jones, they live in Apple Valley, which is like 20 minutes away, maybe 25 minutes away, but it's real close to me. I live closer to Apple Valley where all them cats is from. Gary Trent's daddy, my ex-wife knows him really well. She used to kick it with one of his girls. So she knows Gary Sr. really well. So did you watch that Chet kid near you? Chet kid. Chet. Gotta give me, is that the guy from Gonzaga? Because I can't think of his name. They got the same team as last year. So I'm just playing G. Chet. You got to give me some more, Chiefin. Give me some more. What do you think about Dame's recent sacrifices? Could it mean him winning something? I don't see that. You got to. I missed that. What did he sacrifice? You have to hit me to that. The Dallas Nazis. Good with Ryan. The Dallas Nazis. They sure are. Yeah, it's big to them. Chet Holmgren or something. Chet is the seventh. Oh, yeah. He's with he's from Minnehaha. He's playing with Master P's son. He's the top recruit, and he hasn't signed yet. I don't even know where that gym and that school is, to be honest. I know where the Minnehaha area is, but I don't know where that school is. I've never been to that gym. I think that's a charter school, fairly new school. I'd say like 10 years new. So I don't even know what they got to be in the top division of, because they're playing all these out-of-state teams. So, but yeah, that guy is he can play. I think it's a shame he got to play with a damn mask on, but he can play. They've been putting them games on television quite a bit. Some of them don't be on national television; they be on local television. But they did Shotty like that when Shotty and Jones played against each other. The older brother, when Shotty and him played against, they put them on national or on local television. And I took my son away from Shotty. That was probably one of the stupidest ego-driven shit I ever did. Should have left him there, let him live with his mama, and he could have played with Shotty. But on the other hand, he destroyed his ankle by not listening to me and going to playing a damn game against low talent. The kid pushed him behind and destroyed his ankle. The rapper Pooh Shiesty lost his brother to cancer. Didn't know that. He sacrifices his cousin and homies. Wow. So he's on the Drake shit. Dame has lost 6 family members in 18 months. Whoa. I got to look into that. Wow. CJM, a lot of the Magnus, indeed. I like the boxing video of Frazier versus you. Oh, my goodness. I did another one. And I might release it, but it was too long. But it was like watching round 11. Like right tomorrow is exactly 50 years, because when I was in 4th grade, the age my daughter is, that is when that fight took place. Check this out. A lot of the pay-per-view, because you had to go to theaters, the shit was shown in black and white. My father saw it. I don't know if it was in Ann Arbor or Detroit. He had to go somewhere else. It wasn't local where he could see it, but it was in black and white. So do you imagine you got to pay for it, and you paying to watch it on closed circuit in black and white, and you sit in the damn movie theater, because that's how pay-per-view used to be. But the 11th round is magnificent. Ali brings him back in, and they're changing, but Ali is like going high guard because he's anticipating that left hook, and Joe hits him, and Ali kind of blocks it, and Joe hits him right in his stomach. And I don't think I think he knocked the wind out of him. I really do. It looks like so I might release that, but it's about 11 minutes long because it's all in slow motion. But it's such a great round. But Joe hits him, and it makes Ali kind of go to his right. But Joe catches him with a hook. And in slow motion, you see that Ali, like, I don't know how he didn't fall then, but you see how he squats. Like he squatted and almost fell so low in slow motion. You see, like, he literally was almost on his butt. He went straight down. He's like, his head is like at Frazier's stomach, and he pops back up. And then Frazier just keeps pursuing. But again, I was doing it in slow motion. But thank you. As a child, everybody loved Ali, and we didn't see the phoniness of Ali. Everybody hated Frazier. Everybody was calling Frazier a Tom. In reality, Frazier lived the experience a lot more than Ali. Ali was a sheltered child. His father was a painter. And again, back in those days when they were raised, his mama didn't have to work. But his father gave them that house is still there in Louisville. And his father gave him a good life. Not Joe. Joe was working in the slaughterhouse at 15. So Joe had a much harder lived experience. And then Joe, the thing that Joe got frustrated with Ali is as follows. Ali said he was doing all the hype to sell the tickets. In minutes, the garden was sold out. Every fight, he didn't have to do all that. And then if you don't think that Ali's an asshole after the way he was calling him a gorilla, I mean, if we talking amongst brothers, yeah, we can call the mug a gorilla. But you talking to the world press, nothing but Europeans, and you calling your fellow brother that was giving him money, let's be honest, Joe was giving Ali money when Ali was broke. Because the only job Ali had is his brother owned a gas station. And Ali had to go campus to campus. That was the only job he had. Here's a guy unskilled, could barely read and write. He was able to take Malcolm X's place. So my appreciation, and then my son told me that his girlfriend helped with getting Joe's statue, finally a statue. But one thing I always did is I thought Joe, because Ali had said that Frank Sinatra, they did a punch stat, and he had hit Joe with more punches. But they did the punch stat tonight, and it was like, no way he did. One time in two rounds, Joe hit Ali with 61 power punches in 2 rounds. Unheard of for dudes their size. And again, Joe was only 5'8", 5'9", maybe. But just great part of history that I love. What did I miss? Do you read the Bible? I do not. Awen, how can I escape the school system? Which system? How can I escape the school system? Which part though? Like which part? Which part? You talking about the college, or are you still in high school? If you're talking about college, go into trades. Go into trade. I mean, right now there's so many different things that you can go into. So go into a trade. Don't take those big loans. Yeah, the loans are a trap, no doubt. I mean, that's why I'm so glad. Neither time when I went to school, I never paid. Well, I paid maybe 1 or 2 classes when between the police academy, but the police academy was all paid for by the department that hired me, and my college was paid for by A&T. I went to school on scholarship. Now I only got an associate's degree from police academy stuff, but still they took me down to North Carolina and gave me but it is a trap. I would say find you a skill, a trade. Find someplace you can apprentice. Speaking of basketball, I broke out between the group boys on the finals at LA Fitness. Yeah, that's quite common. That's quite common. I can't tell you how many dudes I just had to punch out, or pick them up and slam them, tackle them. It was like one time, like my favorite thing as a boy, again, it was some of that racial stuff on when I was a young man. And I always carried a hockey puck. Always had a hockey puck. And my favorite move was a dude like he wanted to fight, I would just blast him with a hockey puck. And I would hit him anywhere I wanted. I was very accurate. And then they would always flinch and then pow, 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 grab my hockey puck. So yeah, I talked a lot of stuff. I like to fight when I was younger. That's what I like about my son. When I was younger, I loved to fight. We fought all the time. Even in college, my best friend and I, we fought all the time. I mean, we didn't, it was more wrestling, slamming each other, but we just went at it all the time. I can't stand looking at that Gobert center on the Jazz. Yeah, Chief, and I don't dig him either. Hey, Jay, got a Hulu commercial. Dame got a Hulu commercial that's dudes dressed in $ suits with suitcase full of money saying we can make that work. Yep, he sure does. He sure does. 8 Win is timeless. I was a preteen seeing the former Ali Rumble in the Jungle at the theater in the 70s. Well, what they did is when they came out with Rocky Horror Picture Show, you could see Foreman Ali before the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I don't know if people was into that. Rocky Horror Picture Shows was fun. That shit was fun. I grew up around middle-class working Europeans, and that shit was fun. You take the umbrellas in there. You take the coats in there, squirt guns. But I remember we went to one, and that's why I went to it, because we could watch the fight with Ali and Foreman before the movie. Like cartoons, you know, that's where a lot of cartoons used to be shown too, was before movies. I am going for my insurance license. Outstanding, James. Outstanding. You really think Seahawks going to let Russ go? Looking like it. They putting the rhetoric out there. They are putting the rhetoric out there, and Seattle probably wants to get up under his contract. That's what I'm thinking. I always thought, again, him for Watson or him for Dak. Seems like they might be building that up. So, I am going, but yeah, right on, James. That is right the frick on. Russ might go to the Bears. Yeah, because they're going to keep that rookie there just because he's still on his rookie deal. Fowler's going to be gone. Salary cap, though, does that work for them? Salary cap. They gave Mac all that money. They matched Mac's contract. So, interesting. Will the dollars work for that? Jets. Yeah, Jets would make more sense. They'd have more salary cap money. LA Fitness lectured those young males on self-awareness, situation awareness, and environmental awareness. I feel like Sierra ruining that relationship. Well, what they were saying, I know Wiley and them talked about that. And Wiley and them was saying, just get prepared. Once she, they're gonna be together for so long, they're gonna get a divorce. They have children. I think he adopted Future's son, so he's gonna be under child support, and he'll find another starlet, and she's gonna have some more checks. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's how that turned out. So we'll see. We will see. I want to mention this before I get further. Now I don't know if you guys were with me, but yeah, this big energy tried to attack last night. I just felt it encompass the whole building, but all my barriers protected. Because I felt it. I felt it coming, like I felt like this pressure coming deep from space or wherever it came from. I could feel it when it just started moving towards this direction. And I felt it encompass the whole building, and everything held. I mean, it held to the point where I felt it trying to come in, but all the blocks. And so if anybody helped me last night, thank you. Because that was my first thought. I had some help in that regards. So I just want to thank whoever helped last night. Thank you. If you're out there just listening, thank you. You see that I try to live my best life and try to be as genuine as I can. So if I had help last night, thank you. So wanted to put that out there. He trying to be like Tom Brady. Jack's got more draft picks. Yeah, that's true. I think the relationship setup was a lot of stuff. Yeah, I talk about that all the time. Juanita was sent to Jordan. Kirby Puckett just wanted any fly-looking chick that would look at him. Kirby wasn't the best-looking dude. Now, let's be honest. He wasn't the most handsome brother. He had a big-ass water head, so, and he wasn't smooth. Even, where's Kirby from? he wasn't sophisticated. If you met him, you know what Kirby's idea was after playing baseball. Now he was living here. He was like open up car washes. Now I know he ended up going to Arizona, but again, he took a hit. He had to give half that money up to his. He had 3 or 4 children with that chick, so he was already. And they wasn't together. I think they got divorced before he died, but she got them all that money. I do think the first movie I saw the movie theater when I was 6 was Let's Do It Again, starring Sidney and Bill Cosby. Richard Pryor's in that one too. You ever smoke weed? What do you think this is? Dr. Dapper. Matter of fact, they're about to pass flower in this state. Now you can get the pills, you can get the drops, pills, drops. That's one more you can get. But yeah, that's already legal. So now they're about to put flower. So this state is all the prices for everything is going to drop. It's already, we getting everything. I mean, we only 10 hour drive from Colorado. So everything is pretty here. You can get edible. Let me tell you, my friend took an edible and he said he was tripping. He said the clock was moving, but he said he started puking. And I'm like, I don't think the weed gonna make you puke like that. I don't think the edible would make you puke. But, you know, he thought it was the edible that made him puke. He said he was tripping for a minute because he surprised me. What do you think when your neighbors try to fuck with you, 8-1? What do you do when your neighbors try to fuck with you? Well, James, you know, my thing is it's been niggas, you know, it's been niggas that I've had to check. You know, it ain't even been, you know, I live around, you know, it's very limited. I mean, in the Twin Cities, out of 3.5 million people, it's only 200 and some thousand, you know, black folks, American Indians, whatever you want to call them. Now I'm talking about non-Africans, you know, Americans. So, I mean, and down here, it's even less than that. So I haven't had any problems with them. I mean, one time I almost had to pull my gun on these young boys, these young European boys with a dog. And I was just getting at the point to like tell them, because like my daughter doesn't like dogs, and they was like rounding the dog up. And I should have just called the cops. And that's what I ended up doing. But I almost shot these dudes' dogs. And, you know, I composed myself because my daughter was there. A lot of children was there. And I just walked away. But that was the only problem I've had with cats down here like that. It's been niggas, you know. It's been niggas I've had to check down here that, you know, my boys messing with. Like when I had to put some young dudes out of the building last year, you know, again, niggas. So, but, you know, I kept my composure, but I was one dude that made me mad because when I was going back and forth, he had touched me when I was leaving to go in my car, and that pissed me off toward him. And so these other two, so it was 3 of them. It was just me, but I was willing to, I had lost it. And so, you know, I kind of lost it with them, and it was that step where what are y'all gonna do or y'all gonna get taken care of? It really was that point because I don't really play. It was like I had got serious and shit. I was about to be serious on their ass. In Omen culture, the mystic guardians of the Time Lords were the Black Jaguar warriors. So you're welcome. Well, thank you, Edward. Thank you, Karate Kid. For me, is this live? Yes, it is, Jay. I thought you were smoking on a cigar. I forgot to get one. I went out to the mall and I got in a mile or so out there because it was kind of windy earlier and forgot to stop and get cigars because I already had beer, so I forgot to stop and get the cigars because this is recorded right now, Jay. I mean, that's Jay. Are you tripping? Because it's obvious live. It's obvious live. If you looking at anything on YouTube, it says live, so it's not recorded, Jay. THC can be a psychedelic sometimes. Ever felt like that? Oh, absolutely. 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 That's why I tell people, you don't need DMT. I can get good THC and be just as out there, be just as moving through. Yeah. I don't need none of that. I don't need to take acid anymore or DMT or none of that. I can get fire as I want, just smoking some weed. So it does have that effect. It does have that effect. I liked it better when it was legal too. Saturated the weed game. There you go. No money in it. Yeah. It's not. I was born in 1969. Growing up as a young man, 70s, 80s, I was surrounded by prime examples of authentic Black masculinity. Me too, Edward. Me too. Me too. Me too. My father, the thing, like when you see me, even almost 60, I'm still walking with my head up. All my children walk like that. All my children, we all walk with a fast pace, with our heads up and confident. My daughter's the same way. It's funny, if you watch us all walk, we all walk the same way. I was telling the story when I was hurt, and my son is used to, keep in step with me since he was a little boy, and he saw I was hurt right after I had my surgery, was getting better, rehabbing, and he was like, he's vulnerable, not vulnerable, but he's like, yeah, this old dude is old. So that's the biggest thing I picked up from my fathers. I walked just like him, and I taught my sons, even my two sons in Michigan, we all walk like my father. We walk with our heads up, and we move fast. So I had a prime example, and my stepdad. I mean, I've told the story before. My stepfather, from the time I played my first T-ball game as a 5-year-old, my stepfather and my mother bought me a baseball uniform. He watched those games. When I was in 7th grade and didn't even play on the 8th grade team, but I was on the team, he watched every game. I played in a few games that year. I think I scored like a total of 10 points that year as a 7th grader. He watched me play every game as an 8th grader, football, basketball, every game as a 9th grader, and all my games through high school. So, so when I got to do baton for my daughter, even though I don't like the drive, I do it because somebody did it for me. So, DMT is being made by one's pineal gland and can be created through the breath work. I will say this, Ibram, like me, I have asthma. And so it's kind of tough for some people getting the breath. It really is. Now, what I do is when I want to go deeper in, I do some cleansing breath, like Lamaze teaches women that, and I picked that up back then. But so I can take, and Balmer teaches that. But there are a lot of people that really, because of breathing issues, they really can't get the deep breathing that like even yoga requires. And so I say, don't let that stop everybody. You can keep continuing, but don't let that be something that stops you. So. I am a gangster, stroll, and meditation as well. I got a gangster stroll. There you go. How do you feel about NASA on Mars? That's lies. They ain't on Mars. And that's lies. I don't even know about satellites. Now they're saying, okay, I'll say this. So there was a report last year, almost every month, supposedly the Tesla dude is sending like this just past week or this weekend, they sent 60 more supposedly satellites up there, where they're going to saturate 200 and some in so many years by 22, 23. But then at the same time, they said this report up there that the satellites, because of the material, is looking like the stars. So how do we know all that shit up there is, if they're telling us that this artificial stuff you supposedly send up there is now looking like stars, makes you wonder about all of it. So no, I don't think they done sent shit there. Again, how do they get through the Van Alden's belt? How do they get through the meteor belt? When the Anunnaki had the atom bomb to get through there, how can they send a little toaster through all that? They ain't explaining it to you. They ain't showing you technology that they can be dodging, playing a video game, dodging asteroids. I don't believe that shit at all. Physically regular, unruly ninjas are two. They went off topic, but do you think NBA players know the script? I'll say this. Football players, it doesn't require all of them to know the script, does it? You got basically 22 dudes that pretty much get an idea what the script is going to be. That is why you game plan. It kind of showing you the script. Basketball is a little different because, again, only 5 or 6 people play on it, like 7 or 8 most teams, NBA teams. You see dudes in the sweats, they ain't going to play. So do they really need to know? But at that point of their life, if they were a good college player, they were scripted in college, especially major colleges. Again, if a college has a betting line, then the game is fixed. That's why I did that little thing on A&T. A&T now I'm seeing is having betting lines. And so the games are scripted. again, I mentioned about Van Pelt and him and Stanford Steve making fun. And you talking about these games that nobody even cares about. Now, more so last year when we had full season compared to now. But they would always do mockings and show you these games don't mean anything. On my other channel, I was showing you, in the NBA, when the games are over at the end, it's uncharacteristically for somebody to shoot the ball. They've almost gotten fights over that. Somebody tries to get an extra dunk or extra layup. And I showed the Timberwolves game where it was only for the point spread. That they shot for only for the point spread. And so you see these games, how they're fixed. So everybody doesn't need to know. But if you've been around the system long enough, you know. And then that even goes into because they betting on the G League. I don't know if y'all catch that. They're betting on the G League. And the G League is picking up. The G League, these little towns, if things go back to the way they were, these little towns support those teams. I know there's a team in Greensboro, and Greensboro at one time was had the Carolina Cougars was playing in Greensboro at the Greensboro Coliseum. So Greensboro been wanting a team. So Abram, all facts. Honor, thank you, Alito. Thank you for joining me. So they don't everybody. Playing in the NFL would be killer. But it's the modern gladiator sport. Yeah, I saw Deion won his game again. Here we go with the censorship. I'm sorry to see that. They are censoring, cursing up like the F word. Wow. I see they are censoring and cursing up here like the F word. Wow. Yeah, I mean, getting in the league, and that was the thing that was so, that hit me so hard of not making it, just having to settle for practice squads and those kind of things, it was just frustrating not being able to really break through and then having to play semi-pro for summers and then work, and then no insurance, have to tape yourself, one minute. I mean, really went like this. It's like 1 minute I'm in a stadium packed full of motherfuckers. The next minute I'm working in the water department in the ditch with shit up to my knees. And so I went through a depression and stuff because I quit doing everything for about once I started working for the water department. And that last summer playing semi-pro ball, I didn't work out for almost a year. I just would go home, drink 40s every night, just go to work back and forth. I went from 175 to 250. The MEAC tournament came down. We had a friend that was coaching at Delaware State. He recruited me when I was 14 as a freshman when he was at Florida A&M. And so my father came down, one of his friends, and they couldn't believe me when he saw me. He's like, whoa, what happened to you? But I went from literally 175 to 250. And the lowest I've ever been was I've never been under 200 since. I think, I haven't been over 200 since then. I weigh about 245 now, and I'm still 6 foot. And I'll be 60 in June, and I'm still 6 foot. I ain't shrunk. So I was probably about 6 foot and a half, 6'1" at the tallest. Okay, thank you, Woke. Thank you for your support. Yes, definitely stadium for those G League teams, just like minor league. Yeah, they're doing well. They're paying dues. Like right now, that's what they're going to do. College is going to hate it. That's why college is in a forced position, because remember, the one guy went straight into the G League season before last, and they gave him a $500,000 bonus and like a $400,000 salary compared to everybody else was getting 40, 50. And then now the two-way contracts are solider. So that's a great way, to bring guys back and forth. So it's good. More jobs is great, but it's more of the fix. They censor certain comments and then let some go. It's crazy here. Roman proverb, rule the citizens, provide them bread, games, and circuses. There you go. There you go. There you go. Don't worry about your problems. Watch the game. And one thing Umar Johnson said is absolutely right. Umar talked about what do we see on Sundays now? I mean, during football season, regular football season. Football is on, like here, football is on noon till 11 o'clock at night. Before the Sunday games, football went off, with the late game. 5, 6, 7. But now football is on till, from the time you get up. Generally, I would try to get up around before noon, get some coffee in, cook a little something, and football's on at noon here. And then football doesn't go off. But think about it. You got, if you a football person, you had Thursday night games, you have high school games on Friday, you have college games on Saturday, you have pro football on Sunday and Monday. So you're saturated with distraction, saturated with it. So yes, now they what did they, the first half money was what, 400 and something? But yeah, I mean that's a beautiful thing. It's interesting. Chris Paul, Wake Forest is in Winston-Salem, and Winston-Salem and Greensboro are kind of like St. Paul in Minneapolis. They're almost twin cities. They're so close together. Greensboro is a little bigger, but Wake Forest is in Winston-Salem, with also Winston-Salem State, and so that's where he went. He went there. And so it was interesting, him giving love to A&T, and they showed A&T's campus, and it looks nothing like the shit I went to. Nothing like what I went to. Again, when I went to A&T, it was only 5,000 students. Now, A&T has like 15 to 18,000 students. All the buildings that I lived in are all tore down, so I wouldn't even hardly know it. The campus, like where there used to be houses and stuff, they tore all them houses down. It's all campus now. So it's changed a lot. Yeah, you can bet on the G League games. Yeah, Ibram, you can bet on them. And do you really think Simmons deserved to win the dunk contest? That dunk Obi did was hard. That last dunk he did, that dunk was a hard dunk to do. If you watched his body, what he did, that was the most impressive one to me. Simmons jumped up, but see, taller dudes get penalized because they tall. Now, when Simmons had the Nerf hoop and jumped and his head was at the top of the square, that was impressive, but his last dunk wasn't impressive. I mean, again, he had his whole upper body over the rim, but that was a common dunk. I thought Obi should have won. I thought his dunks were better, especially his last dunk was really impressive. It was really impressive. So, but it's only so much you can do with the dunk. I think they should have done away with it. So I thought Obi should have won on top of the storylines. Can you? Yep, and they about to make it 17 games for the NFL. They're already at 17 weeks, so they're going to push it to 18 weeks because everybody will still get a bye. But yeah, yes, and it used to be 12. Used to be 12. G League ball rigged as well. Why wouldn't it be? If you can bet on it, it's definitely rigged. It's definitely rigged. 8-win timeless. I am 5'11" at 254. Okay. Yeah, I need to definitely, and I've lost weight. I've been just more active around the house and stuff. So I've lost weight and I'm going to keep losing weight. Woman out here in Connecticut killed her 4-year-old son. Why? Romanto. Know what? Thank you for joining me. Know what though? Oh, you thought Simmons should have won? I don't know. I liked Obi's dunks better. I thought Obi's dunks, that last dunk was really impressive though. Yeah, I think Obi should have won. They gave Simmons too high on his last dunk. And then did you see the manipulation on Curry shooting? I mean, it was like, okay, get out of here. They are pushing Curry agenda. They are pushing again. The league has missed him. That is why the rise of Dame. But again, they want short dudes to be the face of the league. They are clearly trying to get away from centers. If Curry didn't get hurt, I really think that a lot of teams wouldn't have had centers anymore. Because the league it's harder. See, what they look at is who's playing AAU. Like football has taken a hit that they'll probably never recover from. Do you know how many little boy football programs have been canceled? Now, football has gotten smart. What football did is football started putting up, because 7-on-7, that's the passing drill, but also you can have defenses. And so this is what we have a lot of children now are just like this season got canceled here for even the spring, but the 7-on-7 went last fall, and the 7-on-7 is still going on. I found an ad on Facebook for 7-on-7, and I called my best friend, and he's had his boy play over a year now. He's played in it 3 times. And so that is the only thing saving, because little boy football, like when my son played for Eden Prairie, which had one of the top football, where Bud Grant's son, I think he still coaches there. But if you looked at the amount of teams for little boy football, it's dying. It's really dying. A lot of people aren't letting their children. Then I firmly believe a boy probably shouldn't play football till he's a freshman, because you can't get away from the head hits. I know my boy has been, when he was little, like 8 to 10, he had concussions then. I know he did. And remember, maybe 3 years ago, it was a boy killed himself. He was a high school guy, and he had CTE already in high school. So the NFL is smart to push the 7-on-7 because it's less contact. And the game is turning into that, where, you see some sets where it's one dude rushing and everybody else is dropping back. And then you had to rush linebackers, linebackers are generally your most athletic people on the team, because they can rush and use their speed, or they can drop back and cover. So generally you see cats playing out, not middle linebackers, but even that position is going away. Like the Cowboys, I think that's always hurt them. They stayed to having two middle linebackers, where everybody else is putting more talented people out there that can cover. Because a lot of times you get the true middle linebackers and they got to cover a speedy tight end or a back. They can't cover them. I mean, they're too slow. That's sad though, Jeffrey. They don't know why. She was breaking cars' windows with a barbed wire bat. When the police arrived, she then told them she killed her son. Damn. Ramonto says the dude who won is a trans player. I don't know. That bone from here to there looked like a dude to me. I guess you ain't watched him enough. They've been showing him since he was in 9th, 10th grade. The eye has been on him. Don't know if I agree with you that. I think we'll do a little more investigation, though. I think we will do a little more investigation. That is fair. That is fair. But it didn't. And plus, I've never seen a woman jump like that. Because jumping is all about hip flexors, and women tend not to have that type of hip flexor. Again, Brittany Griner, Lisa Leslie, what's the pretty girl from LA, which is that a girl that married the big Duke dude? She's going back to Chicago. She's very suspect, but she doesn't have a little head, but right here to there, that arm bone, don't know about that chick. But her, yeah, most you don't see a 5'11" chick dunking or a 5'8" chick dunking. You just don't see it because the hip flexors aren't strong enough. And that's what dunking is. You have to have strong hip flexors. And women tend not to have that type of hip flexor to push. So that's where all your power comes from, your hips in the lift. Toxic frequency and vibrations are moving rampant throughout the nation. Thus, mastering mental and genetic alchemy transmutation is important. This subject is Michelle or Michael. Jay, I don't really give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about if what Michelle is. Michelle got. I don't even know why they called her the interview with Wade's whatever, because it wasn't an interview. It was like her mostly talking. It's the year 20. Anything is possible. I agree. Anything is possible. Do you think UFC women fighters are really men? Yeah. What is her name? Nuez, and she's got that commercial for the Mexican beer. That's a dude. I mean, that is a straight up dude. Did y'all see the commercial they did in the All-Star game where they showed that dude who races in high school? Did y'all see that? Is the dude who either races in college or high school, but it's a dude who racing against girls? Did y'all see that? And then they showed a picture of Sabrina. Now, we know women's tennis has always had trans people, going back to Renee Richardson. It was started for a league for trans women. I mean, that's just go back and look at it. It's always had trans women in it. And you think Sabrina is a woman. I don't even think her sister is a woman. But that commercial was telling because I almost made a video on it, but then it was Sabrina right after. And I'm like, I'd have to show Sabrina too, but it showed that high school athlete, the dude racing against girls. And right now, some states is like, might let that shit happen. Here, they didn't. They voted that shit down. And this is a very, we have the biggest gay population besides San Francisco. I mean, our pride parade before all this happened is one of the biggest pride parades in the country. So they did a lot of spraying here. I mean, I'll be honest, they did a lot of spraying. Because this is the thing. My mother hangs out with some women, and a lot of these women had children, and now they're all lesbians. It's like, you weren't lesbians when you were young. You had, but it's something here. It's some kind of chemical here. And I'm not saying people don't make choices, but I really think there's some kind of chemical. And this is what gets my interest even greater. I've been really trying to dig deep into some of these factories, and it's like I'm hitting a wall. I've been trying to find what factories win, and that information should be readily available, and it's not. Because I was trying to find out in North Minneapolis what kind of chemical factories have been over the years, and I've kind of hit a brick wall. So, art of science influence is a practitioner of the art and science of influence. Yes. Biden wants it to happen. Yes, he does. Politics is being practiced on the sovereign and supreme level. So it's going to pick up, which it's unfair. It's unfair. Like Sabrina, when you do, like even the girl that's like the girl that beat Sabrina, that looked like a dude too. She's the Japanese American like girl. She looks like a dude as well. So it is women's tennis is all going back to Renee Richardson. She was one of the founding members of the WTA women's part. So I don't put anything. They've been doing it since what we talking about almost 50 years now. And if you think Sabrina is a woman, that is one of the ugliest persons. Whatever it is a very ugly person, and they got it constantly on TV. And it's that look like, okay, I'm a horse face, but what are you going to do about it? And they have that horse face on everything. And that is the classic. That is the classic. And I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feeling, but I do want to disrespect her because, again, it's people talk about how fine that being is. Big ass. And I'm like, look at them when they was little. Look at them when they was little. Them long-legged, long-armed little boys. So South Park did predictive programming with a chick who looks like Macho Man Savage, just killing women in sports. I remember that. Players focus on sex. Pimps focus on money. Max focus on power. Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. That's very cool. I like that, Edward. Well, I'm gonna take a break to give out the divination. I know it's not going to be as good as the Waking one, so forget about her for right now. But we are at Shock. So we are at 13 platoons, 0 cartoons, 8 tunes. We are at 5 Uno, and we are at 19 kin. Excuse me. The 19 kin is Shock, Storm, Thundercloud, Thunder Beam, Transformation that precedes full realization. And for those of you that would like the Mayan fractal, oop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. And from the Totec. Here we go. This is one of my favorite cards. It really is. And Shock is kind of my guiding energy, I guess you want to say, of all the energies other than Mu herself. It would be the wind. In this card, we see Quato, the deity of the rain. In one hand, he holds the serpent that represents the flash of lightning, and the other axe that represents the striking of the lightning. We also see the drops of water. At the top, we see the number 19, a bowl containing the corn seed that represents fertility. Talak, the superior deity of water, which both Quato and Ato are a representation. For the Toltec psychology, the water represents the mind, the serpent symbolizes the body, and the axe represents the identity or in personality. Cool. The broader meaning of quarto. Oh shit, let me plug in. When I'm streaming on two services, it goes pretty quick. There we go. Pick up my pendulum. Okay. Now let me say this before I go. Okay. So again, I know cats don't study enough for some of this stuff, but okay, let me put the book down. All right. This right here is not practiced in Africa. You don't see its equivalent in Kemet. You just don't. This is this. The great Pakal is holding the scepter that has, as they said, the flint on one end. You have the two parts of Kato and Kwato together. And that's the same representation of this. Now, I know some people tried to say that they were showing this, and again, if you don't know what that is, I can see if you see something similar in Kemet and you try to mix the two, but there's no representation of that in Kemet. So just study it and don't put out that fault. That's false. That's false. So that's all I'm saying. Don't show that representation and try to show it as the same thing in Kemet because it has different meanings. Again, this just said it has the meaning of Kwato and the alt. Kwato and the alt. Kemet does not have this equal. So I know you can take pictures. You can take pictures and show pictures that look similar, but you got to understand what this stuff is. And if you don't understand, it's kind of bogus, that you're just showing comparisons without doing the study. You're just doing a visual and saying this look the same. It's just like if you do Full Dogs, which really is a representation of the hero twins, and you try to compare the Full Dogs to a Kato or the Rain God Shock. Again, you don't know. You're not studying enough. You just going by the eye without really learning what this means. So, with that said, the broader meaning of Kwato is the action of nurturing or fertilizing something that will bear fruit for the future harvest. The card tells you that your dream is getting closer, but the seeds of your dream need your nurturing action to achieve their destiny. At the moment, you may be experiencing some anxiety about the results you want to achieve, but everything is a process, and one stage cannot happen before the previous stage has been completed. This means there is no harvest without previous planting of the seed and watering of the land. You need the spiritual power of the rain to do this in your life. Start by being aware that you have already planted the seeds of what you are striving for. You have made some progress already, but those seeds need to be nurtured so they can grow and yield their fruit in the future harvest. The message of Kwato is about watering, and it's also about timing. Don't make the mistake of judging your results by what you are seeing at the moment, because the process is not completed. With the time of the harvest is getting closer, it has not yet arrived. Do not think you have failed, but do know that you will fail if you don't take care of the follow-up of your dream or projects. At a deeper level, this card is telling you that you have within yourself the power to nurture. Perhaps you're not acknowledging it and using it the way that it is needed. By initiating Kwato, the deity of the rain, you have a life energy that is needed for anything to grow. Don't be shy or underestimate your power. Identify what your seeds are and what is the train which you have planted. Then planted them. Then let your life energy flow through your appropriate action into the land and those seeds so they can evolve you and you can achieve a rich harvest. So, and I'm just showing that stuff because, again, people probably don't know. So, people probably don't know. What did I miss? That's very well written. I like that, Edward, about the Mackin. That is very cool. South Park did some predictive. Yeah. Players. The gay wave is huge here. It's everywhere. They really Want men to lust over men? Yeah. Martia Navratilova is a man. Yes, she is. She was a man too, or it was a man too. Masculinity and femininity are universal cosmic forces of nature, never able to be denied. Yeah, it is. It is. And with Biden in, he's passed laws again. Some states, like this state, said women can't participate, men can't be. It doesn't matter what you take. Like this commercial I talk about is that person was taken. That person, okay, it must be college because that person was the worst. That person, as a freshman, was the worst college sprinter. I think it was doing the 200, no, the 400 meter. That person was like number 300 out of all the 300 colleges. That person is now the top 400-meter person as a woman, only because it takes some pills. It didn't have its junk cut off, turned into a vagina. It's just taking pills to get the estrogen levels lower. That's not fair. I raised my daughter, a whole life, and doesn't take that, and then all of a sudden my daughter has to compete against a boy who's taking pills so he can pass a test. Y'all don't remember them banning the Soviets for that? Remember that? That was the thing of the Soviets. That's what they always blame the Soviets for doing. And America got caught more doing it. Look at the Olympic stuff. The American got caught way more doing the same thing. But that was the thing they said about the Soviets in the 70s, in the 80s and 90s. Disqualify, Inger was disqualified because Inger had too much testosterone. But definitely Martina was one. Definitely. So it's not going to go away. Hey, Greg, and the CCP, the communists, the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union. That's what they always blame. Not talking about these American girls or American boys that passed. Again, the first person, like that's something. When I talk about Title IX, that was something that fooled me, and it hit me hard when I realized that Title IX wasn't just to uplift women's sports; it also uplift trans sports. Robin Roberts is a prime example of the first athlete that really benefited on being able to compete. Robin Roberts got to compete, I think, against girls in high school, and she got to compete against girls in college. Robin Roberts is definitely a trans person, but again, benefited from Title IX. Title IX, they put in there to help trans athletes. And I'm not trying to, discriminate. I'm just saying as facts of how they did this, they snuck that in. And that's a good play. I mean, again, most people would have never got that. I'm one of the few that talk about. I think I'm the only person that brings this up with Title IX. A lot of people don't even know what Title IX did. Again, I look at my cousin's yearbook in '72, and they got sweats, different types of uniforms, football, all of the new uniforms in '72. And then you look at the girls' sports, the girls got marker for numbers or tape for numbers. So that's unfair. But on the other hand, just like we saw a lot of these sports being closed down, a lot of them got to stay open because they don't make money. Women's sports don't make money. Most football programs carry all the sports. Title IX made them take football money and put it into girls' sports. And that's not really fair. If my son is in a program and this program is making millions of dollars, why should that program have to take money out of it to put into women's sports, which aren't going to turn a profit? I mean, they just don't. Women's sports don't turn a profit. I've been to a women's Final Four. It don't bring business like the men's Final Four. Do you understand? It brings a little bit, but it doesn't bring the overwhelming army that the men's Final Four does. Who cares about the WNBA finals? No one really. They don't get rich playing in the WNBA. They get rich playing in Russia. That's where women go to get rich, over there. They don't get rich playing here. They had to bitch just to get health care all year round. Because if you got hurt hooping and once the season ended, they didn't have to pay you no more, even though you got hurt hooping for them. That's why Minnesota cut track, tennis. They cut about 10 sports because of the football program being shut down. And almost every college is like that. Football is the driving economic thing for most colleges. And you know, I heard something today I didn't know. Michigan has the most colleges in the nation. I didn't know that. I found that interesting. And I couldn't get a scholarship to one of them. I'll never forget, I told the story the other day. I go to Western Michigan. They tell the motherfucker Dave Knapp they're going to give him a scholarship. They tell me I can be a preferred fucking walk-on. So what would you take? Being a walk-on at Western Michigan University or a full scholarship to go to A&T? A&T was like up here. It was like, fuck you, Western. I'm going where they paying. And I got to play on TV. I don't know if Dave Knapp ever got to play on TV. I played on TV my sophomore year. I don't think Dave Knapp ever got to play on TV. So A&T worked for me. I don't think Dave Knapp ever won a bowl game. I won a bowl game. So the basket was on for Steph and Dame. Yes, it was, CJ. Watched 30 for 30 High School of Martina and only realizing she's really Martin. That's funny. They got 200K max cap in WNBA. That's why a lot of them go overseas. Yeah, exactly. It's no money. I mean, the teams aren't making money either. What's the chick that married the dude that got out of jail? They went to Connecticut. Now she's a minister. She played, 5-6 seasons in Europe, and now she's set for life? She played, 5 WNBA seasons? What is her name? I can't think of her name. But when the Lynx was winning and shit, she was the young player that went to UConn, and she came in the league, and she said that she was the lawyer for that dude that got out of jail. It's like she got him free, then she married him. You know what it remind me of? Eldridge Cleaver and Catherine Cleaver. Read Soul on Ice in the letters he writes, Catherine Cleaver. That's some pimping. That's some hard pimping. How would a chick fall in love with this dude that's a 10 times loser? But the words, them pimp words, that's to me, that's some of the best part of Soul on Ice. And it's another book that, and maybe it's not Soul on Ice, but the other book by Eldridge that does the letters. But it's like, that's some hard pimping, but it's like, what's the attraction? This mug is in jail. After mostly trans, yeah. Maya Moore, that's what I'm looking for. Oh, and remember the baseball player that died of AIDS? His daughter played here. She played somewhere else and they won the finals, but his daughter played here. Wiggins, remember the Wiggins? Alan Wiggins, I think was the dad that died of AIDS, and his daughter was named. She went to Stanford. She was a first-round pick here. She played a few years here. And she got on the radio and said that 98% of all the women in the league are lesbians. And she said they was fucking with her. Sue Bird, like my video, I remember I did a video on my other channel about the WNBA players and showing all the men. And that, remember, it was a commercial. Sue Bird hairline way back here. What's the Taurasi? You really believe Taurasi is a woman? Look at her, same way, hair way back here. And that's another thing. I'll say this, that's not the biggest implier, because there's a lot of women. Don't comb your hair backwards, women. People in general, don't comb your hair backwards. It'll make you go bald. And you see a lot of women doing that. You see a lot of sisters where they'll put the little ponytails and the sisters be just as bald. Like, had a friend, she always mostly wore her hair just back like that. She let her afro go, and her afro was like way back here. You know, you're pulling your hair out. When you go backwards, you're pulling your hair out. This is my She Legit, and it took the first Put it in my coffee this morning. Little better clarity today. I'll say that. Little better clarity in my thinking. So I'll let you know. I'm going to order another bottle in a week or two. Have me a 4 or 5 month to really get to see how I'm going to use it. Don't know if I'm going to be able to, because you can put it on your body, but don't know if it's that good a use for that. Yeah, CJ, they are mostly that. Oh, no, Brittany Grimer is a man. Brittany Grimer is a man. And what they did is they tried to raise these little boys, and they wasn't strong enough to compete. And she would have never had a strong enough body as a boy to compete. And so the father raised her as a girl, started giving her medications as a girl. But Brittany Grimer is a man, is a person that was born a male. There's no doubt about that. Voice is deep, Adam's apple. You know, a lot of them, they'll shave. You can even see when they shave their Adam's apple, you can look at the surgery. You can even see the surgery they had. And then as they get older, it really wrinkles from having the surgery so much. And this is the thing about me being an old pimp. I get cracked on by a lot of chicks that be having that. And that just ain't attractive to me. It's not that I just like younger women, but it's like when your shit is pulled so tight like this and you taking Botox and you might have had the surgery, that's not attractive to me. There was this rich chick that just loved me to death. And I was like, and she was just, I just couldn't do it. You know, with that face that's just, trying to think of the movie to Dune. Remember Dune? They had the one person with the skin was pulled all the way out. They had the pins in the first original Dune. The face was like that, and they was trying to stretch the face out to tighten it. That's what it made me think of when I see people like that. It's just hard. And you can see where they'll like, you know, they'll cut, because what they do, they'll cut the old skin and then they'll tighten it and then they'll sew it back up. Or they just take the Botox shots. And you know the weirdest shit is young women that get their lips blowed up. That is the weirdest looking shit in the world. It's like that shit on Match Me. You see a woman 1 week, her lips is just normal. Next week is like she's got double coolers, which is just crazy looking as hell. It's like, why is that a thing? And it's like, it's almost like it like, you know, when you get your tooth numbed or your mouth numb, it's like they talk like that too. They talk almost like with the big lips, they talk like their mouths are numb. I find that kind of amusing. Meghan Markle, the new Mrs. Doubtfire. Botox is bad over here in Europe. Oh, is it, Greg? Is it bad? Oh, Europe. I gotta call. See what time. What time is it? Shit, let me see if my girl is up. Because what time is it? Hey, Greg, what time is it over there? Going on 9, right? No, going on 8. It must be what 7:40 over there? Is it 7:40 in Europe? Hey, Greg, what's happening? And extreme duck lips. Yes. I talk about that all the time. You go on Facebook, if you see one woman with duck lips, you're going to see 15 others. How is that possible? How is it possible that 15 women at the same time take the same pose? If it's not a type of spell. Again, I guess you're laughing at the row the boat dude who's the University of Minnesota's coach. He was on the big board his first year here in Minnesota, and he did the duck lips while on the big board. He puckered his shit. It's like, yeah. 8:40, yeah, 8:40. So she might be up. I'm gonna write her, see if her ass is up. So yeah, you said it's 8:40. Let me write her, see if she's up. Let me find her first. She might be up because she wrote me last night or night. She's like, I'm sorry, I got up late. And yeah, she ain't going to school. So let me write her. See if she's up. Let me find her. Mess with her. What kind of spell would duck lips be? Rocky, I don't even know. But they're okay. I'll tell you like this: the me or the mind can do spells, and so you get caught into Facebook. Facebook has a type of, it's probably more of an enchantment. It's easier to do enchantments, and I'm guessing it's more of an enchantment. And what Facebook can do is enchant the same amount of people, especially if they're friends. And they will enchant the same amount of people at the same time. And it's like mirror, mirror on the wall. You looking at yourself and you taking selfies and looking so cute. And it's like the enchantment says, post that one. That one really looks cute, post it. So I think it's more of an enchantment. But Facebook is spells in some ways. It's like reading through Facebook and not commenting. How many of y'all can do that? Reading Facebook and not comment? Because it's an enchantment to make you come in to comment. I used to be one of the best Facebook breaking people down, making people block me because I would just hit them with facts. But it's like, why? Why? What does it matter? But Facebook needs that shit. Facebook Live is the stupidest shit was ever created. They tried to make it another YouTube. But just the way it's set up, it's stupid. It's just stupid. I haven't done a Facebook Live since 17. Again, after the way they tacked my ass, because I was doing Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Talk Shoe, all at the same time. I was the only one doing that shit at the time. I had all three going on. And Facebook fucked my computer up so bad. Hey, Jason, thank you for joining me. So it's just an enchantment. I would say it'd be more of an enchantment than a spell. So I misspoke, Rocky. One black lady of LA Fitness thought I was 31 years of age. I am 51. Yeah, they don't get that for me. No one card me. I tease them. I'm like, you don't want to see my ID? And they just start laughing. They're like, how long have you lived down here and been coming in this store? Like, well, you can make a pimp feel a little younger. She's like, well, take my number and let's see about it. I'm like, oh. That's good you take care of yourself, though, Edward. That's good that you take care of yourself. The gentleman that used to live across the hall from me, that I was helping when his legs were hurting stuff. He couldn't make it up. So I was, taking his trash out, taking food up to him, just, being a human to another human. He's a year older than me. And if you looked at the two of us, he looked like he's 70. He looked like he's 70. And he's a year older than me. So he's 60 or 61. But physically, he looks 70. And again, he smokes cigarettes. Wasn't really a big drinker that I saw, but smoking cigarettes. I'm pretty sure he's doing crystal meth too. Pretty sure. He was doing crystal meth in his 50s. I can read a lot of Facebook posts, see lives without commenting because my third eye and solar plex is vibrating. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You can already see. But the thing is, from everybody that fucks with Facebook, see that that's what it's doing. Like, just look through the shit and you ain't got to be, even though you know the shit, you ain't got to say shit because that's the enticement. And that's part of it. It's an enticement, which goes to be an enchantment. And so it's more of an enchantment, enticement, but enchantment. It's weak enchantment spells to draw you and you reading that shit. I just like everything. Like. That's why Tasha and Phoenix got mad at me. I'm just like. And I did talk shit about Serena. They don't like that shit. It's none of them like hearing about Serena on Facebook. You want to hear the most protectors in the world? Start talking shit about Serena on Facebook. She has the best protectors. I mean, now that's a spell. She has them motherfuckers like what was Beauty and the Beast. Serena got a spell over everybody like Beauty and the Beast. You don't see that Serena is the beast. And I don't mean the beast like AI and that kind of beast, but I mean a beast. Serena is just the beast. That chick. And she's got a lot of protectors. I didn't know that Sandra Bullock had sisters as protectors. Because I did highlight Sandra Bullock, because Sandra Bullock is not a woman either. She'll tell you that. She's not a woman. But these sisters it just made them lose their mind. And then this one sister put a picture of Sandra Bullock at her her Adam's apple clearly shows the picture. And I'm like, thank you for showing her Adam's apple. Oh, they lost their mind. But see, when you talk shit to me at Facebook, I'm standing behind you. I'm throwing arrows in your back like this. I'm in the room. She's like, you're not in the room with me. I'm like, yeah, I'm in a hallway. You got pictures on both sides. Your carpet is a type of burnt orange. You sitting in a leather brown chair, and you sitting at your computer desk. She blocked me, but I'm throwing arrows in her back while she talking shit. But I sat there and told her all that. And she blocked me and her friend. They both blocked me. Yeah, don't fuck with me. And I did that. I did that before I was even fucking with desire shit. It's easier now with desire shit because this shit here does do a connection. It's like what is the show that shows electricity and it goes through the circuits and stuff? That's real. That is a real kind of thing. So if you're on Facebook talking shit to somebody and they got a little bit of ability, you better know their ability and you better be strong enough to block it. Because you opened up. This shit's open. You know, this shit's open. No, not Sandra Bullock. Michelle, yes, definitely Michael Obama. People court judge look like a dude too. Cyber trauma exists in Hollywood since early 1900s. Yes. Marlena Dietrich is one of the first trans stars. Some people even say Marilyn Monroe, because Marilyn Monroe got hair plugs. Like you see that little curl in the front of her hair, that's a hair plug. And some say that Marilyn Monroe was the most famous one of all time. Now, I don't know. And she never had any children. She always saying she was having miscarriages from all the years of having abortions, but she never had children. And that's what you got to look at. Why do all these Hollywood women, young women, can't have babies? What's the chick from Tillman or what? No, what's her name? From Australia, and she's in all the movies. She's a young woman. Why she got to adopt an African child and turn this child into a girl? What is her name? Now I can't think of her name, but it's like, obviously, why can't these young women have children? And then they do the moon bellies and all that shit. We know that. What have you seen into her house? My pop's best friend from high school is married to Sandra Bullock. His name is Brian Randall. Wow, Gray. Wow. I'd like to know how big Sandra Bullock's is and why can't Sandra Bullock's have children? Oh, wow. His name is Brian Randall. I knew a Brian Randall too. Wow. My mom told me Michelle was a dude. She told me to leave her house talking about that black queen. How did you see into her house? Back then, I just astral projected into her house. I didn't even know about the Czar stuff. Again, the channel was open. And so she was talking shit. And I just followed the channel right into her house. And yeah, I went right down her hallway. And then she started talking shit. And I was like, yeah, you got pictures on both sides. Children on one side, your family on the other. Your carpet is this color. This is where you sitting right now. You sitting at this desk. Your chair looked like this with so many buttons in the back or whatever. And I was able to, and shit, I know it scared her because her and her friend that was talking so much shit just blocked me like that. Yeah, so that was just astral moving. Now I know desire shit. It's way more effective than that. And this is shit, probably 3 years ago I'm talking about. Yeah, the Czar shit is a lot easier to move. On my Twitter profile, I identify myself as the founder of the pastor of the Church of Godzilla, Church of Mothra. There you go. Yeah, we definitely been fooled. Angelina Jolie, Charlene Theron. Yes, Charlene. Thank you, Rocky. Yeah, Angelina Jolie is more than likely as well. Adele didn't have kids either. Adele was a big fat person, so hard to say, but could be. Godzilla, Amon-Ra, Mothra, Mut, wife of Amon-Ra, therefore being Mut-Ra, Mothra. Yeah. Thank you, PJ. The Czar shit. What's it called? Yeah. It is fucking with their way to move. Fucking with their way to move. You don't have to astral travel. It's a whole nother way to move. And you know, this book ain't for everybody because this book, these motherfuckers is up in this book. But so if you on some bullshit, don't fuck with this book. But if you just straight up and you use the gift the way it's supposed to be, and you don't got to do blood, that's some bullshit. You don't have to give blood to move through that shit. Because I know when they fuck with me, they don't do blood just to come give me some messages and shit. So you got to see deeper and read between the pages. But the way to move, that's the way to move. Ellen is a man. Yeah, that's been old. She old looking man, old little man. And that's the problem is Hollywood people have always been short. I mean, Mickey Rooney was what, 4'11", 4'12"? And he at one time was the biggest Hollywood star in the probably before World War II. Mickey Rooney was the biggest star, like late 30s, early 40s. This dude is 4'11", 5 foot. Hearing the neighbors sound like something was getting out of control. Maybe not. And that's the problem. Is Hollywood likes little people. They film better. Entertainers all around the entertainment thing. They like short people. They film better. And unfortunately, a lot of little dudes, you know, and Hollywood asked for that. Hollywood been like, well, you know, you can't be a star, but you can be a starlet. They throw the money at you. What do you think most people would do? Like I was saying yesterday on the Eddie Murphy movie, they got the young boy that's playing the son wearing a dress. Again, go back and look at when they first bring that first wife out, when him and Tracy Morgan are walking, and he opens up his coat because he's wearing a long shirt too, but under that shirt is a dress. It wasn't shorts; it was straight up like kilt like shit. So, Tom Cruise, Kevin Hart. I don't know about Kevin Hart, but he's short. Yeah, both of them are short. Yeah, right. They're both shorts. Back, lighten the breath, fire symbolizes master of Kundalini. Yeah, it does. But yeah, Kevin Hart, Tom Cruise. What is Kevin Hart? 5'1"? And Kevin Hart done got like Kevin Hart is the Steve Harvey now. His last concert at home. Oh my goodness. That must have been a clone because that dude wasn't funny. But the one before the COVID, the one he did, when he did all where he kept guns or he kept knives, and he like did 7 examples, the shit wasn't funny at all. So you could see his funny dropping off. I don't know if he fired writers or what he did, but his last 2 concerts, the concert at home, I didn't watch all that shit. After 20 minutes, I'm like, this motherfucker, the funny done went somewhere. But the one when he was in the stadium was like that too. When he was in the middle and everybody was around him, that shit was whack as hell. He wasn't funny, especially the knife part. I mean, you telling a stale joke 7 different ways. It's like, man, you ain't reading the crowd. Be the next year of the Dragons, the last year. Okay. Hart not funny. Yeah, he's not funny. He was never funny. The Dragons are king to the Naga, which means sacred serpent in Sanskrit. It does. And that is where they get the Naga from. So it ain't really a put down. It's some shit that they didn't understand and tried to apply it as a put down. Didn't really know it was a power word. Cancel culture got to him, but it was just he wasn't funny. So I just don't understand what happened to him. It was like what really happened to his writing. His writing wasn't as good. You know, you're at that point where he's at. You should have some of the funniest cats. And see, that's why it's cool. Like if you got your base guys around you, but that's why it's cool to always bring in fresh minds and fresh writers. Because comedians, you need people that are into everything. You know, I think he got over because he was able to tell funny family stories. But once that dried up, he ain't really been funny since then. We done heard all your family stories. He tried to give you funny family stories about his dogs and then about his children. That was what his funny was, making fun of his family. But was he really funny other than that? Was he funny other than that? You know, once that ran out. I feel like female to male is harder to notice for some reason. It is. MVP 107 Gematria Ganas. Could be. Yeah, 107. Good call. Thank you, Rig Sports. Thank you. The Sacred Serpent is in Hollywood. It's Godzilla. That's why I didn't think that's Chappelle. Oh shit! Did I write this down? Let me see did I write this down? Because I had some shit. Let me see where I put it. No, I guess it's a little bit of something else. I'll tell you this though. I'll say this. All right, this is something, and I guess this goes into a little bit. And I was talking about Ali and Frazier earlier. I am pretty sure Joe Frazier died after the Ali fight. They admit that they had to induce him into a coma. I know yesterday I said he didn't, but listening today and doing a little more research, they induced him into a coma. They had to put him in the ice. I think Joe Frazier died. I really do. I think that Joe Frazier died that night. Because if you look at the Joe Frazier that fights in Iowa, it's a flabby dude. It's a flabby dude. Look at the dude who fought against Foreman. Not the same looking dude. And so I think Frazier was cloned. I think he died and a clone took his place because again, he was the world champion, so they wanted to keep that money. And if you look at the dude who fought George Foreman, who wasn't, now he tried to say that George Foreman punched hard. Ali punched hard and a lot. But all of a sudden you fought, like when I watched the champion from England lose the first time to the fat dude. It reminded me of Foreman and Frazier. It reminded me of the same way. Frazier went down 7 or 8 times. All of a sudden, this dude is going down. It was like the same game plan. But I think Joe Frazier died that night. I really do. I really do. And a clone replaced him after that because he never fought the same way. Even looking when the Thriller in Manila and the second fight, it doesn't look like the same guy. And this brings a point I want to bring up and get you guys' opinion. So with Ali and Frazier, do we see the hero twins just going at each other, or do we see Cain and Abel? What do we see in that? So do we see the hero twins fighting each other because brothers fight each other, or is that Cain and Abel? Because as it was looked at and put at, it was put at as you know, we have Joe Frazier being represented by supposedly conservative America, and then the brothers was all supposed to be with Ali, but the fact is Joe Frazier was more like the people. Ali was more boule-ish, again, in the nation. So we were fooled into believing, because we believed something about Joe Frazier that was never true. He was never Uncle Tom. He lived the experience way more than Ali. So we were being fooled by Ali. And so it's just, what do you guys think? Are we looking at Cain and Abel, or are we looking at the hero twins just fighting each other's brothers? Because brothers fight each other. He looks different. When I was a kid, Chappelle was way funnier. Yeah, I said they were tired of winning the Celeb All-Star game. Joe looks different in Ali too, OJ. OG. Okay, Jason. Movies suck. Comedy is trash. The music is garbage. Entertainment not there. Yeah. What about Bernard Hopkins? He was nice. So yeah, you think they're more the hero twins, CJ? Okay. Or day one, or am I just negative? Did you say something else, day one? Did I miss it? But it could be the hero twins. I wrote both of that down. I was just wondering some other opinions. I kind of thought that too. More hero twins. Again, they fought 3 times. Both fights, you know, Joe was never the same. And if Joe didn't die, I think Joe died, because the being that fought after that was never the same. Never the same. His body looked different. He was never chiseled again, which makes no sense. Like, he was 205 and chiseled, fighting trim. That's what Archie Moore called it, fighting trim. Ali wasn't fighting trim in that first fight. He's flabby. But when Joe fights Foreman, he's not fighting trim. Not at all. Even his second fight and third fight with Ali, he wasn't fighting trim. So I think that Joe died and they replaced him with a clone. That is what it looks like. I was listening to a dude talking about Bernie Mac, and Bernie Mac told how it is in Hollywood, and it's fucked up. He said, there's only two ways you can, he said, there's three ways you can end up in Hollywood. All the timing is perfect, or the two other ways is broken sucking dick. That's attributed to Bernie Mac. And that's, that is a funny possibility. But thank you for the input on that, guys. I was just looking at that myself. I was just wondering about that myself. It was just looking at that. Again, right now, tomorrow evening is the true 50th anniversary of Ali, and Ali Frazier won. It's been on ABC all day. I missed it when it first came on. I missed it the second time. I just taped it, and it's enhanced. And let me say this, and I know a lot of people ain't into this shit, but at the time, it was one of the best shot old time fight movies of the colors from that night, even without enhancement, still was magnificent. It was whatever they shot that with was some of the best. It was like the highest quality for back then in 1970 or 71. It was the highest quality where even if you look at it on YouTube, you see it's something a little different. But this enhanced version that ESPN did is a good tribute. It's a good tribute, So I'll let that go. I mean, I know that's not everybody's thing. But Joe was great that night, but I do believe he died that night. I do believe he died. I don't know. I'll give you guys a little bit. Really, you should watch Legion. If you really want to fuck with the Czar world, you got to watch Legion, because what Legion does is Legion kind of tries to show you the Czar world by looking at it as going back or forward in time. And so just imagine that you go in a hallway. Just imagine you're just walking on an open hallway, and every hallway has a number. All right. And so as you're walking down the hallway, every hallway has a number, and the number can be a year. And so imagine you're walking by and each hallway has a different year. Now let's have some real fun. So you're in the hallway. Make the hallway go away. Make the year dates go away. But you're still on a path. And you're looking at the path, and each path you see scenes. And you'll see the scene play out, and you don't even know what to do because you're just watching a scene. But then you start thinking, wait a minute. This looks like something I can just try to be a fisherman. And so you try to throw your consciousness into this scene. And yes, it's possession, absolutely. And you keep trying to, as you're walking through the hallway, you keep trying to, you're seeing these different scenes, and you keep trying to throw your consciousness into these scenes. Because again, it is possession. And then finally, I'll use the example I had. You see a lion, and you're just looking at the lion, and you just throw your consciousness, and the next thing you know, you're running around as a lion. You're like, oh shit. A second ago, I was watching the lion. Now I am the lion. And so you throw yourself back out, and you keep going further, and you start seeing people, and you're like, let me throw myself to see if I can occupy that person. And sure enough, you see someone doing something, and you can throw your consciousness into it. And it's just minor possession at this point. But it's like the eyes of Laura Marsh. You look up, and you are having your consciousness, but you're looking out of some foreign eyes. You're relating to people that are foreign people, but yet you take a step, and you are looking and stepping in this person's body. And as the more you step and the more you move, you kind of forget that you are in a foreign body because you occupy it fully. And not only that, all the memories are there as well. So as you greet people, they're not strangers. There's a part of you that's, again, it's possession. There's a part of you that knows all these people that this life has picked up. And you are moving actually through as this being. And it doesn't feel as strange as what you would think. You know, on TV, they try to show you, you know, you move the arms and look. No, it's nothing like that. You just knocked out my mic. You just move. You don't think this is new, this is weird. You just move. That must have been a lot of energy. I knocked the shit out of my mic. Been a thud to you guys' ear. Okay, I'll cut it off there. But it can be that easy. It's a little easier. Some of you may not be at Astral Travel, but that Czar stuff it's not as hard. It's really not as hard. Best basketball player you ever played against? Timeless, please explain what the Hero Twins are all about. Okay. Which Ali Frazier fight was the best? Yeah, the first, Gray. The first by far. Their skill level. The second fight is better for Ali in the fact that he was fighting Trim. And it's better in that aspect. And again, Ali was about to knock Frazier out in the second round, and the ref stopped it. Ali had hurt him, and the ref stopped Ali from knocking Joe out in the second round. And so the skill level is great, but again, they fought 12 rounds in 2. And then the Thriller Manila was just, it was stupid for both men to take the fight. It was stupid for both men to take the fight. So first one by far, you see Ali rope-a-doping. You see that Ali can take a punch. And you just see Joe Frazier be like the guy called him a truth machine. He was definitely that. He was definitely that, where I'll take 2 to give 1. I'll take 3 to give 2. I mean, there was nothing going to stop him. So you can't tell me. But again, he took such a beating, maybe, and he never fought good again. He never really fought even the last one. Here we go. After the destruction, the Popul Vuh begins and relates stories of the Hero Twins, Hampanaptu and LeBlanc, demigods. The Hero Twins defeat the false sun and vanquish the gods of the Ubala of the underworld, setting the stage for the generation of true humans later in the Popul Vuh. Hanapu and Amlanke took on Seven McCall, who had set himself up as a false sun with the support of his sons Zukpaka and Kabranka, great blowgunners. The twins took their weapons and stuck the bejeweled teeth of Vakab Kanud, and then tricked him into accepting the gourd corn as the replacement. Unable to eat, deprived of the jewels that gave him false radiance, Vakab Kaku was defeated, and his sons were defeated thereafter. The story then flashes back to the generation of Hamatu and his brother Vakub Hamnatu, such skillful ball players. Their constant play disturbed the lords Ubala, who commanded that they come to Zabala for a contest. Messengers went to Abala and guided the brothers into the underworld, where they failed one test after another. The day after they arrived, they were sacrificed by the lords and buried in the ball court. When Ik, a young Ikbala goddess, learned of the strange fruit of the tree, she visited, and Hanunaptu's head spat into her hand, impregnating her with who would be Hampu and Ablanke. With her condition became apparent, she was driven out of Ikbala and went in to live with Hanuhapu's mother, who tested her before allowing her to stay and deliver their twins. Hanuhapu had already fathered another pair of twins, Hans Bats and Han Chin, great artists and musicians who resented and abused and took advantage of their baby brothers. But when they grew old enough, the Hero Twins outwitted their brothers and they lured them to a tree, and the tree was so big that gods couldn't even climb down it. Their grandmother hid their father's ball game equipment from the Hero Twins, but they had tricked her and became even more proficient ball players than their father and uncle. Once again, the lords of Zabala summoned the ball players to the underworld, but the Hero Twins were not defeated by the test and trap set for them. Instead, the gods fell into the twins' trap. They used a mosquito to bite each god in sequence, so the gods revealed their names, part of their defeat. Each day, the twins played Zubala lords on the ball court. Each night, they were sent to different houses to be tested. When told to keep their cigars lit for all night, they completed it by using fireflies on the ends. When told to provide to cut flowers, the twins summoned ants to cut the flowers of Lublala. When they were sent to the cold house, the twins drove the cold away. When sent to the jaguar's house, the twins offered the jaguars the flesh of other animals. In the firehouse, the fire did not consume the twins. In the bat house, however, the twins slept inside their blowguns. When Hanu Hapu stuck his head out early in the morning, a killer black bat sliced off his ear. Zablanke called the animals to help him, and they fashioned a new head for Hanu Hapu from a pumpkin. But when they got to the ball court, the lords Lubaka introduced the head of Hanu Hapu as a ball. Zablanka stuck the head out on the court, and a rabbit curled up and bounced away as it was the ball, leaving Zablanians on a wild chase and giving Zablanke time to restore Hanu Hapu's head. But the twins let themselves be defeated, cooked in the oven, and their bones ground into the river. 5 days later, the twins reappeared from the river, first as a catfish, then disguised as wandering magicians and performers. The lords Zabaka summoned them to the court where the twins performed great feats. They danced, they sacrificed a dog and brought him back to life. They sacrificed a human and brought him back to life. And Zablanka sacrificed Hanu Hapu and brought him back to life. The lords of Zablanka grew ecstatic at the sight and begged to be sacrificed. The twins obliged, of course, but did not relieve the dead gods. They dug up the bodies of their father and uncle and revived them, walking to the sky to reign as their place as the sun and the moon. And that's from the Popul Vuh, talking about the hero twins. And so they're never static. Again, they can be ship shapers. And so that's just a little bit, but it comes out of the Popul Vuh. The stories are much longer, and it gets into creation. And then this is the picture of their dad. And the Popul Vuh, basically, translation goes to corn plant. And let's see if there's a representation of them. There is, but it's not right here. It's under their names. It would be under their names. H. Let's see. Oh, here we go. We are visual people. There are pictures. It's not right here. I'll try to bring a picture. Oh, here we go. No, that's not him. I would be telling you the wrong thing. Nope, but their names are Hanukato and Haruato. Or let's see. But this comes out of this. If you didn't want to read the Popul Vuh, I'll tell you this: the Popul Vuh, there's no like I would say almost if you read the study of Maya, there's not a lot of doom and gloom in that either, but it shows another way of creation, and it doesn't show it as any doom and gloom, any Bala Marduk, none of that. So you just have to do a little research into it, I would suggest, if that interests you. Best basketball player. The best basketball player I ever played against. Hands down, it would be Tank. Tank went to Chicago State. Chicago State had won, I want to say the NEIA championship with my cousin. And Tank was about, a lot like Tim Reed, a lot like Edwards. Tank was about 6'5", 230. I mean, one of the most solid brothers that could get his whole chest over the rim and smoke squares. I remember playing, like, he played just with the family, but I remember when I went to Chicago and watched him cook on them dudes. He was probably the best. The best shooter would have been Sugar McLaughlin and Rashawn Leonard. Rashawn Leonard, yeah. I played I only played with Sugar in high school, and I saw him play at college. Little Gus Macker, but I played a lot with Leonard. Leonard would, because he played on our. I think our team was sponsored by United Airlines in the Pro Am League. Leonard was by far probably the best scorer. And then I always mention Tim Reed. Tim Reed was probably the most talented dude. Again, you could have 5 dudes pressing him. He'd get through all 5. I never watched anybody else play like that could literally beat anybody pressing him. There was no pressing Tim. No pressing him. His handles was that strong. He had 3-point range, and he could get his whole upper body. And Tim was about 6'4". Bonzi Wells size. Never played against Magic. I played against the judge. What was his name? Joubert. Played in Michigan. He was decent. But yeah, I would say Leonard was probably the best scorer. But Tank, I don't even know Tank's real name. Tank was probably the best player overall. But Tim Reed, I mean, I know he's a nobody that people don't understand, but this cat could go. I watched a game where he scored 80 points in the prison. And we was a tournament, and he was just putting it on people. Like, we would go into prison to play in tournaments, and Tim, whatever he did, and Tim could put it on people. Never passed, but literally could beat 5 people guarding. So I would say Tim Reed. Tank, though. Tank was better because Tank would pass and Tank played defense. Tim didn't really play defense or pass. So, but Leonard by far, best shooter by far that I played against. Best bet. So, creation, evolution is the purpose of human life. Whoever wrote that, I want what he had. There you go, day one. I agree. I do too. That's why I love the hero twins. I mean, you get into the Popul Vuh, there's whole stories that get into them because it even jumps around. It tells you the hero twins and it gets you to their story. But it just talks about the ball game. That's why you see the oldest statues in North America are of the hero twins. It shows that they can ship-shape as well because it shows their feline attributes, that they can shape-shift into these felines. And that's one thing that the Europeans didn't destroy. They destroyed a lot of Omen stuff. You study about them. They say that the Spaniards got so close to one of where the Omen were, but it's funny that you see a lot of their statues buried near there. So Spaniards found some magnificent shit. They found statues that could move, had movable parts, and destroyed them. Some of the finest things that were found of the Omen. They got an Omen with long flowing hair. Again, they bound their heads, but you see a bound head person with just long flowing hair. You only see a little piece of it that left. The most lifelike one, they cut that one in two, but it is jade face, and you only see in half of the face, but it's it matches any of the artwork in the world. It is that fine. 2 little pieces that was destroyed by more than likely the Spaniards. And then the statues of the hero twin, luckily the people saved them because they would have destroyed them. And they are the 2 oldest statues. And they ain't done by the Moors. Moors can't, you can't say that the fezzes is the same thing as the hero twin sacred helmets. It's not the same thing. That's the thing. When you study the Omen, you have to understand what the helmet symbolizes. That is the helmet of a Yanni. So it's nothing like a fez. Now, I'm an ally to the Moors. That'll never change. But those things ain't alike. And the hero twin does not. Maybe she up. Let me see. Send me your email. See if she'll talk, because they're under lockdown. They're under lockdown. Like someone came on tonight was under lockdown too. They're under lockdown over there. Ever wrote that? Whoever wrote that, I want what he had. There you go. Popul Vuh is actually they like you read Fahrenheit, what is it, 451s talks about how they came into the Americas and they just destroyed all the writings. I mean, the codexes are far and few between. I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of codexes, and there's very few left. So this is the lie that the Europeans told. They said that there was no written language. I mean, when I was in school, that's the bullshit they was telling you. But yet this shit existed right here if there's no written language. They had an alphabet. They counted the months. I mean, this is the calendar, the sun calendar up here. I know you can't see it, but that's the calendar of the sun. This shows where a ball game would be. So, it's the lies they tell. There's no written language. Don't you know that as far as natives, it was one dude that went around and made like several of the native languages. He made alphabets for them and was able to decipher and give them alphabets and stuff. So they try to lie and say that, there was nothing here like that. And here's another good book. You guys just want to get into consciousness. It's a pretty good book here too. So you want to check that out? Because if she writes me and wants to come on, I'll chop it with her. I'll tease her. But if she don't, I'm going to go to bed. I am going to go to bed because I'm getting tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So, and that's just a short thing of the Popul Vuh. But I have to bring my book out tomorrow because I think it's still in my bedroom. Because I think I'm going to put another bookshelf right here. So, and I don't know, I might change all this. I'm not sure what I want to do, how I'm going to do it. So, but let's see if she wants to come on. She probably just want to talk to me. I'll talk to her. Yeah, she says she's up though. She might not want to talk to y'all. That's a good question though. All the ball players that I played against, I've played against some. One dude I watched play that could play far as black college, HBCUs. His name was Machine Gun Kelly. I want to say his senior year, he averaged something like 40. He didn't break Pistol Pete's record. I think his name was Terry Kelly, and they called him Machine Gun Kelly. He was out of Texas Southern. I think he had a tryout with the Bulls, but he didn't make it, and he ended up working for the water department down wherever he's from in Texas. Still, so he wasn't, still had a decent life. I think his name was Terry Kelly, but he was one of the best shooters. I watched him black college. There was a dude named Spriggs that went to Howard, played with Magic, won a championship with Magic. He was pretty decent. That Howard team they had Spriggs, they had a 7-foot center, and they had another dude 6'10", 6'11". And the Aggies, Joe Binion tore their ass up. Joe Binion was a great Aggie. He was a great Aggie. He played over pro ball in Greece. It was like the Pistons. Yeah, the Pistons cut Joe and kept Rodman. And Joe was a far better scorer, better ball handler, maybe not as good athlete. Rodman was a good athlete and could run all day. But Joe was a hell of a player. I can see my son is taking all the internet. My internet is very low. Wow. Let me look at here. Oh, okay. Says it's decent. But looking on over here, it's not very strong. Not very strong at all. Wow. So we'll see. I know she's just getting up. She probably ain't got her shit together. Because I'm about to close it down. I've been going for 2 hours. I went 3 hours, almost 4 hours last night, which was way too long. I know Sly and them be teasing me. They be like, I can't talk just by myself for 4 hours. But it's all right. It's all right. I can. I have that skill. And I appreciate people that hang with me. I'm sorry, everybody, that, the messages is getting taken out and shit. Do you know Sonny Johnson played for Ohio State? No, I don't know that name. Ohio University? No. How old a cat? No, I didn't run across him because didn't Didn't Gary Trent play for Ohio? No, what's his name did? Rod played with Jordan. He came out of Ohio, didn't he? Rod Harper. Didn't Rod Harper come out of Ohio University too? But I thought Gary Trent did too. So how old the cat? Because Rod Harper was younger than me, and I watched Rod Harper play in college. I was in Michigan then, so I watched Rod Harper play. I thought he went to Ohio U, maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Gary Trent, don't quite remember, but I thought he went to Ohio U too. So no, I don't know that name though. Sonny Johnson. I never came across that name. But I saw a lot of cats play at Western. Dan Ronfield, Greg McElroy. A lot of dudes. I mean, I'm a basketball junkie, guys. Shit, I watched freshman Len Bias turn Carolina out when he wasn't a jumping person. He was on a stacked team. And if I remember right, Len Bias played with Albert King, Buck Williams. That was a stacked team Len Bias went to as a freshman. Adrian Branch, I think, was on that team too, but didn't start. It was a stacked team. Now, maybe I'm wrong about Albert King being there, but I think Albert King was a senior when Len Bias was a freshman. Because Albert King is 2 years over me. So, yeah, I think so. Brian Graham. Watch some cats play. My university, me and nephew are tight. Miami, he went to Miami. Okay, Harper went to Miami. Okay. Miami of Ohio, that's what they call it. Right. And me and the nephew are tight. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, Miami of Ohio. Yep, that's right. I got you. Yep, Miami of Ohio. Yep. I remember that. But no, I didn't run across him. Nope, I didn't. That's cool, PJ. Miami University, and me and his nephew are tight. Okay. But I ran around. You know, it's funny. Like through Larry, I got to play with a lot of cats. Like just me living in Greensboro, I was just playing against cats on campus. But when I met Larry took me like to Raleigh. We went to Chapel Hill. You know, I got to play ball against a bunch of cats in the areas. And so if it wasn't for Larry, you know, I wouldn't have played a lot of ball against a lot of cats in Carolina. It wasn't. I mean, even when I worked for the water department, I didn't know any leagues or anything. So I didn't play in any leagues other than when I was going to college, playing intramural. And then as soon as I go to Michigan, I played semi-pro for like 25 years. It was nothing but hooping. If you got drafted, would you play professional ball knowing what you know now? Well, I got invited to play with USFL. And that didn't work out. And then I got getting invited to play for practice squad. So I was like going back and forth for the border and be on practice squads and shit like that. So it was lucky that I didn't. But two things is the beating you take. I mean, I took a beating just playing college ball. You know, I had 2 concussions, and you know, I had 2 concussions in high school, 1 in college. And then had a concussion and kept playing. You know, they made me play on a bruised Achilles. They shot my ankle up. So just in that regard of abuse, that's why I got these cases against their asses now. That's been going on about 3 years, if not 4. So, but you had to sacrifice. You know, that's the sad thing. That's the part that I'm glad. And this is the thing, like, especially with my 25-year-old son, that was my dream for him. Because he had the size and everything. But the way it's worked out now, I'm glad that none of that happened. That's why my youngest son is 6'5", 235. And, you know, he's taken mixed martial arts, just training. He has the healthy lifestyle. He likes to work out, but I'm glad that none of them. My other son is 6'7". So I'm glad that I didn't have to put them down that path, because fame is the price of fame is hell. And that's what you're trading it for. You're trading it for the beast. And the beast is AI, but that's what you're trading it for. And like someone had mentioned with Dame Dollars, you know, his I don't think she wants to come on. That's been about 10 minutes. So I might just end up calling her myself. So yeah, the price of fame is hell. And I'm glad I haven't played. So the answer, Derek, is like I'm glad that things didn't work out. I'm really glad that it didn't work out. Again, spiritual wise, I have other lives that I was successful and I saw that other lives. I had two other lives that I've been able to see when I did go down that route. And the same shit that happens to everybody else. Sacrificing here and there. I'm not gonna say the family members that was sacrificed because it's not in this reality. But in them realities where I make it, yeah, you seeing the evil shit going into the rooms. I've been to some of them fucking parties. I'll say that. I think I told you guys. I knew a pro basketball player had a goddamn 400-year-old tree in the middle of his house in Greensboro. I ain't gonna tell his name. He did play for the Carolina Cougars. He did play for the St. Louis Hawks. I ain't gonna tell his name. Yeah, not gonna tell his name. He played for the Utah too. Utah Stars, I think. I think he just played in Carolina. I don't think he played in Utah. I'm not gonna say his name though. I don't think he's alive anymore, but yeah, had all that bullshit going on in his house. Every room, again, this was the start of the cocaine craze and everybody fucking on everybody. But it had whatever you wanted to fuck was up in there. Again, this is the 80s. So I didn't know that's what I was walking into. I was just one of my partners wanted to go to and this is the funny thing where I should have said, So we go in there. And the first thing they ask us to do is tell us we got to take off our clothes and put on these goddamn pajamas. That should have told me to get the fuck out of there. But again, they had free food, free drinks, drugs. And we put on these goddamn pajamas. And it's just like, meet a chick, boner, get up, go find another chick. I mean, it was that kind of thing for as long as we was there. But it was all that other debauchery going on as well. And it's funny, it wasn't as open in the terms as the gay stuff wasn't as open. It was like if you was into that, you would step to somebody. Because that's what I was kind of watching. I was like watching how people that was moving like that, where they would move towards that. Whereas if you was just with women, you was just pretty much steered like with women. They kind of kept that shit separate. Yeah, they kept that shit. It wasn't as open like that, but they was definitely testing you to see, what you liked. Like they might have a soft boy walk by you and shit to see your reaction. So that kind of shit. I ain't know, I was still in college doing that shit. That was some crazy shit though. It was like it was a full up orgy. I probably fucked about 10 chicks. No cap. I fucked about 10 chicks in this one night, no cap. And this was before the AIDS and all that shit. It was just free love. That had to have been 80. I think we had won the gold bowl, so maybe it was 81. So I was kind of riding on that high a little bit. But yeah, the house with this goddamn 400-year-old tree. Marble floors all around it, atrium over it. And this tree is fucking damn near big as my building. Never forget that. I wonder if that fucking tree is still there. How were you able to see those other lives? Did you meditate or was it magic? Yeah, well, I've always been able to step in. And it's I said this before, it's like that shit can cause mental illness to you too. Really can. If you don't understand what's happening to you, it'll give you mental illness. Because what I would do is I would at first see the flashes of the shit. I was like, damn, why do I keep getting these flashes? But as I got older and my magic got stronger, I was able actually to see why I was getting this stuff. And so there's a couple of different, again, this comes from the machine. So the machine gives you these different, it's not the universe itself. It's definitely just the machine. The machine gives you all these multiple routes. And so you can just use one of the machine's routes to because it's still there. And so I tap into that every now and then. But in each instance, even though I have everything that I want, the spirituality is not there. Each other person I am, the spirituality is not there. It's like other things I tap into and there's nothing there. It's like my first wife. is never a path where me and her stayed together. It's never a path. And I've tried to tap into it because for a while I was getting a little bit of the, because what you get is, now I'm kind of switching a little bit, but what you get is you get dimensional blend. You get a dimensional kind of blend. It was like I watched a dude on Dr. Phil, and he was talking about how he knew that he was he wrote songs and shit. And he was hearing popular songs that he had wrote. But I was like, this dude is getting dimensional blend, because that's what it was sounding. I was understanding. It was like he was seeing, he could see the visions of him being that. But in this life, you ain't that. And again, that shit can give you mental illness until you understand what is happening. Because in your mind, you know you're supposed to have this shit. And it's like everything you're doing is not giving that to you, but you know you're supposed to have it. And you're seeing these visions, like you sitting there and it's like, what is going on? You know, what is fucking going on? And so it's a hard thing until you really grasp everything. So it's like I am where I'm supposed to be in life right now. Again, this is I stay in a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm in my kitchen. I'm in my dining room. My kitchen's right there. My dining room's there. You guys see my TV. My TV's 4 or 5 years old. I drive a 2005, so there's no fronting. I mean, this chain, yeah, this cost a little bit, and this chain is silver, but I don't try to front like I'm not wealthy in any means. I'm a very modest person. I mean, I like clothes. This is the clothing state. I mean, if you can't dress nice in this state, there's no tax on clothes. And this time of year is the best time of year to buy clothes because they're getting rid of all the winter stuff. You go to Macy's, they're giving away fucking suits for $100. You can get a Tommy fitted suit for like $100 and some bucks because they're getting rid of all the winter clothes. So this is, you know, for clothes, this is clothes capital. Hell, I bought this hat here for $8. $8. Y'all got to quit wearing the baseball hats on YouTube. Y'all showing that y'all ain't hip. Wearing the baseball hats all the time. It's time to put them baseball hats out and start wearing the bucket hats. But I didn't tell y'all that. You got to be with the styles, baby. And you wearing baseball hats all the time, and that's all you wear? Come on. Where's your pimping? You can't switch it up. Just back for preparing my Amazon order and other financial matters. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. You do be having some hoodies. Well, thank you. I mean, this is the clothing capital, no doubt. There's no tax. It's like I go to Lid so much that he wanted to give me the hat free. He's like, oh, it didn't work. He's like, but it's only $8. So they had a Patriots one that's all blue. So I might go back and get that one because I can get it free. But I'm thinking, I'm going to save my little free shit to get something more significant. So, well, I don't think she's going to come on tonight. So that's okay. But because I know she don't really like to talk. She'll talk to me, though. And y'all miss her voice. So I'm going to go off, y'all. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And have the Barbara bless me before I come up live on Corner Live this Tuesday. Okay, that's cool, Edward. That is real cool. That's what I do. I shave myself every day. You know, shave my head bald and trim my own beard. The cats I use to shave me, because, you know, all barbers can shave you too. They can shave your head and shave your face. All of them are trained like that. That's part of barber school. If they're a barber and they can't straight razor you, yeah, they ain't no real barbers. Real barbers have to learn how to straight razor. So, well, this is Jim in the Chocolate Mountain Show tonight. I am your host. 8 Wind is timeless. I'm also a time lord. I'm a time walker. And so, you know, tonight I play the Hero Twins. You need some money magic. Trying to think. Well, everybody, send Brother PJ some abundance. And Brother PJ, as we send you this abundance, I want to give you a filter. Yeah, just take a
I don't know, penny is popping into my head, but I don't know. I'm thinking a nickel probably would be more relevant. Yeah, take a nickel and throw the nickel away. So if any bad energies, people on some bullshit and send bad energies to you, that the exhaust will go through the nickel. So throw the nickel out. First nickel you touch, you ain't got to go looking for it, but the first nickel you come in contact, throw that away as an exhaust. And everybody that can, sing PJ, some abundance. So doesn't mean it's going to come, but we wish the best for you because we wish that for all. One thing that Awaken once said, and we've done that, is we have an abundance group that we meet and we have certain times. And the thing is like we have about 4 people in the group and we all have certain times we give abundance. And so you have to take about 50 minutes and we have a certain time and you start trying to send abundance to the first person because they have to specify what they need the abundance for. And then the second person each has a time. And so everybody aims their abundance at that person. And again, what I was telling her is like, I would bring everybody up and put everybody in one room. And like, I'm all sitting in a room with everybody and they weren't really ready for that. And I felt intrusive. So I had to tell them, I'm sorry that I did that. But that just made sense to me. But again, it was just intrusive. It's really intrusive. And I didn't mean to be intrusive. It just made sense to me that I just put everybody in one room. And it just seemed like we would be more harmonious if I could lift everybody up to my level and we all just work like that. But that's intrusive. So I had to apologize. So I hope everyone sends it to him. Hope you see something, let us know. If not, you can get with us on our abundance groups. Oh, did she write me? She's not writing me because she don't want to talk. That's okay. She's probably watching, but that's okay. That's okay, darling. If you're watching, we love your energy anyway. So again, as you all know, that I always end with the poem by Eshawn. He was the first rapper out of Michigan. I'm not a New York rapper or LA gangbanger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. I do want to send this because these sounds. Oh, she wrote me back. Let's see. Wow. Wow. So the sounds I was putting together come from Sharite, and this is the card, and this is the real stone. And a lot of times, what you can do is you can put the stone in the singing bowl, so you get a little bit of this essence. And so this is the essence of it, and it provides deep physical, emotional healing, transmuting negative energy. It converts disease into wellness. With this assistance, you can recognize that your greatest trauma is also your most profound gift. Accept it with grace. Shara re-energizes, heals, and integrates dualities, healing past life disease carried into present. It's time to take control. You're undergoing a vibrational change, creating links to higher reality. Visions of past lives suggest ways to redress karma personally and collectively. You have to accept that the present moment is perfect. You create the space to heal. Your frequency is high from this. Those who believe in chakras, it's all, and the timing is any timing. The South passed to humanity. Again, I'm sending that energy to each and every one of you for supporting me. So thank you. This is just the crystal cards. Yep, the crystal cards by Judy Hall that makes the crystal Bible. Somebody must have stolen my crystal Bible. I can't find it. There's a lot of references in there I want to give people, but not finding it. So guess I'll have to look. So, well, thank you, everyone. Till we meet again.